So how can you hand in a project? If you want to hand in a project, first please check whether your institution is listed under institutions, and then if you're sure, then you press on the hand in a project button. The first thing you need to do is give your educational project a title. Here, let's say I want to go for a Bachelor of Law. And then describe the type of education that this project involves. This is a 3-year program leading up to a degree in law. You might want to be more specific on what your education involves and also describe that motivates you. I want to become a lawyer to help people. So as more accurate your description and also your motivation is, the more likely it will be that people will support you in your education. So usually an education takes longer than just 1 year, but currently we allow projects only to be for 1 year. So let's say you want to add another year and look for funding for your 2nd year or your 3rd year. You just state here the amount of projects that you have handed in before this one. So if this is your first project, then it's 0. If it's your 2nd project, you have handed in 1 project before that. If it's your 3rd year, then you have handed in 2 projects before that, just that you know that this project is linked to another project that you have handed in so far. Then another form is opening. This is called details to this education. Here first you choose the institution. Let's say I will do that at Fora Bay College. That's why your institution has to be listed before, and you need to check what is the level for this education. It's a university degree, so the level of education is university. When do you plan to start this education? I will start next year, so I press on the year, then do 24th, then go to September 1st. It will start on September 1st. Please allow enough time until the funding is complete. So your education shouldn't start next month, but allow like 4 to 6 months until the start of your education to have adequate time for your funding. And then when do you think it will finish? You know, this is a guess. If I start 2004, probably I will finish by the end of 2007. This is now the full education. My whole Bachelor's of Law degree will take 3 years. And what is your current admission status for this education? Let's say I'm already admitted. Then I have to hand in either a snap of my admission letter or upload my admission letter as a PDF. Just remember, if you are already admitted for this education, your chance of finding sponsor is higher. But you know, you might also be waiting for admission or not admitted yet. Then please just state the accurate information. But if you can and get admitted before handing in your project, this is just more likely than to find funding. And then we come to the cost situation. Here you have to state everything in new Leonis, and please be as accurate as possible. You know, we want to have your accurate numbers of what your education is actually costing. First, you have to define your time span for your project. Again, the longest time span for any project at the moment is 1 year. But maybe you're going for a skill training that is just lasting 3 months, then it's 1 term. If it's like 6 months, then it's 2 terms. 9 months is 3 terms, or 1 year, which might be similar to 3 terms. So just choose the time span for your project and now give all the specific costs for your project now for this time span. So not for the full education, but for that 1 year. So let's say admission costs in the first year, I might have admission costs of 1,000 leones for the forms and the admission process and everything. Let's say the tuition then costs 3,000 leones, and let's say the cost for materials, books, pens, or whatever is again 1,000 leones, and I need to pay 300 leones, let's say 100 leones for every term, and then it's 3 terms, 300 leones for the test. And then living costs for the given time span. Here you state only the additional cost. So not your full living cost, but only because of your education, what you need to add to your cost. Let's say you need extra transport. Let's say I need to go to the university, from farther away. Let's say I need to look for external lodging at university, and I also need to have some additional cost for the feeding. Then I state that here. And there might be other costs. Let's say 500 other costs, and then you explain I have to buy a new shirt. After all, it's a law degree and I need to be dressed well. So I state these other costs here. That these are just costs that are not listed above. And then, very important, you will say how much you contribute yourself. The contributions show to your donors that you're serious with education. Let's say you can raise, or I can raise $1,000 myself, and let's say also $500 is coming from my uncle, who will help me with his contribution to my education. This might also be a scholarship from an NGO or any other institution that is helping you in that project. Please also be very accurate how much you can contribute yourself and how much someone else can contribute. And this will be deducted from the cost. That means all the costs above will be calculated together. Let me correct that. It's 1,000 for the materials. And the deduction will be what you will contribute yourself. And this will give a total amount that we will help you try to raise towards your educational project. At the end, we want you to confirm a pledge, that you confirm that all information is true and to the best of your knowledge. We want you to pledge that you will use all the money that you receive for this project as stated above. And we want you to promise that you will study hard and do the best to succeed in this education. And if you can pledge that, you just press that button, and after you have handed in everything, you can submit your project, and you will see now that your project is waiting for validation. Again, please contact your validator now. This is the same person as you have stated while validating your profile. You will see that on your home screen, your validator. Please contact your validator and tell them that you have handed in a project that is waiting for validation. Your validator can now reject your project for revision. Let's say he doesn't think your costs are accurate, or he wants you to write a little bit more on your motivation or on your description. He can reject your project for validation. Then you can press on the 3 dots and go and edit your your project, or he might suspend your project in case that he thinks, you are cheating or you want to misuse money. But most of the time, the validator will validate your project, and after your project has been validated, it will be open for sponsoring. And when it's open for sponsoring, then we will broadcast your project in order to find donors and donations for the success of your educational